In my restaurants, I used to carry 4 grab-and-go salads. Why 4? Well, it wasn't for any particular reason. It was because, I just always carried 4. It made the display case look full, customers expected variety, and it honestly just felt like the right thing to do. I knew the food cost was fine because pre-COVID I had costed every one of them, and none of them were losers on paper. The food cost checked out, and I just kept all 4 convincing myself that this menu was working well. I wasn't measuring the impact that they had on 3 major areas in the day-to-day grind of my business. The first was the labor required to prep and maintain 4 different salad builds. The second was the waste. When one of the 4 didn't sell, the entire batch ended up in the compost by Thursday. And the third, and the most important, was the mental load on my staff of having to keep 4 salads looking fresh and abundant, and not to mention their longer prep lists and the extra inventory that we needed to carry to maintain these 4 salads. Now, I had been in the industry for more than 20 years, and I was still carrying menu items I shouldn't have. And it's not because I didn't know better, it's because I was asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, what does this item cost to make? The better question I should have been asking is, what is this item actually worth to my operation? Those are 2 very different questions, and today's episode is about that difference. Welcome back to Plating P.R.O.F.I.T. I'm Stephen Bonin, founder of Chef Plus Strategic Bookkeeping and Financial Advisory for the food and beverage industry. If you're running a restaurant, a cafe, a fine food store, or anything in between, and you're tired of working hard and wondering where all your money went, then you're in the right place. This is episode 5, the menu mix. Let's jump in. There's a tool around that people have been using since the 1980s, and almost every operator has heard of, but very few of them actually use it. It's called the menu matrix. Every menu item falls into one of 4 categories based on 2 things: profitability and popularity. This will give us 4 main categories to place each of our menu items in: stars, puzzles, workhorses, and dogs. Your stars are high profit, high popularity items. You need to protect these, feature them, train your staff to execute them perfectly. Puzzles are profitable, but are under-ordered. They usually don't need better recipes. They need better positioning, descriptions, or recommendations. Workhorses sell well, but generate weak margins. They're often one small price adjustment or one recipe refinement away from becoming stars. And dogs, they do neither. They're low sales and low profit, and every one of them needs to justify the space that it occupies on your menu or your product list. So one important note here is when I say profit, I don't just mean food cost, I mean contribution margin. That's what's left after the cost of producing the item goes back into supporting the rest of the business. That's the number that really matters the most. So back to those 4 salads. When COVID hit, it forced me to simplify, and I finally looked at what I was offering honestly. Not just the food cost, the whole picture. I had to think about prep time, waste, shelf space, inventory, complexity. For me, the quinoa salad with a lemon honey vinaigrette was my obvious star, because customers came in asking for it by name. But what about the other 3? Once I looked beyond the food cost, they weren't nearly as attractive. They all required different and unique ingredients, meaning each of them had different prep, different labor, and different waste attributes. On paper, I had 4 profitable salads, but in reality, I had 1 star supporting 3 menu items that were quietly dragging down my prime cost. The solution wasn't to eliminate salads, it was to simplify the operation. I kept the quinoa salad as a permanent anchor, and everything else became a 3-week rotation of the 5 to 6 fully costed recipes I had in my repertoire. So now I was only carrying 2 salads at a time, an anchor and 1 feature. And what really surprised me was that not only did waste drop dramatically, and prep became faster and more focused, but the display case actually looked better with 2 full, beautiful salads than it ever had with 4 half-empty ones. And little things like the quinoa salad improved because the team was making it every single day. meaning that consistency improved, execution improved, and something actually unexpected happened too. The rotation became a marketing tool itself. Every time an old favorite returned, I'd send a very simple email, something along the lines of, "You asked for it, the toasted barley Greek salad is back this week." And people came specifically for it. By week 3, sales had naturally slowed, and we'd rotate again. Now the quick email blast would say, "Our roasted sweet potato and goat cheese salad is the feature this week. Come and get it for a limited time." And that excitement repeated itself. Customers starting asking, "When is that barley salad coming back?" And the anticipation became far more valuable than having it every day. Scarcity creates value, and availability can sometimes destroy it. Even catering became easier because every rotating salad had already been tested and costed, and it was fully standardized. No scrambling, no guessing. Just simpler operations, more engaged customers, and that, my friends, is what menu optimization is all about. Here's where many conversations about menu engineering stop far too early. They focus only on food cost. And don't get me wrong, food cost matters, but prime costs matter more. Everything on your menu or your product list also has a labor decision. More menu items mean more prep, naturally. It's more ingredients, more receiving, more storage, more training, and more opportunities for inconsistency. Complexity multiplies labor, and labor is half of your prime cost. When you reduce unnecessary complexity and your kitchen becomes faster, it's more consistent and, most importantly, becomes more profitable. And that's why this sequence matters. You first cost your recipes accurately, then you standardize them. Only then should you optimize your menu. If you skip one of those steps, the menu matrix will start giving you bad answers. And this is why the optimization of your menu is the third step in the profit framework. If you'd like to try this for yourself, I've built a free Google Sheet that does almost all of the heavy lifting for you. You just need to enter your menu items, the prices, the recipe costs, and pull the unit sold amount from your POS. Then you'll copy that sheet directly into whatever AI system you use, what you prefer. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, it works on them all. The AI will return a complete menu matrix identifying your stars, workhorses, puzzles, and dogs, along with practical recommendations written in an operator language that you will naturally understand. The link is in the show notes. It takes about 10 minutes, and it will probably confirm something you've suspected for years, but never had the numbers or data to prove it. As you review your results, it's important to remember that you don't automatically delete every dog, because some dogs have earned their place. Maybe they're a lost leader. Maybe they're essential for catering. Maybe they complete a category. If there's a strategic reason, then you keep it. Just make sure it's a conscious decision. Workhorses deserve attention because they're often where prime costs quietly creep upwards. Small adjustments to price, to portion size, or ingredients can create meaningful improvements without changing the guest experience. The workhorse is that menu item that you sell tons of, you're just not making enough money on each, so you need to make a small adjustment to it. The puzzles are often a marketing problem, and they are my favorite when I'm doing menu matrix analysis. These are items that make you tons of money, they're just not selling. So you can move them, you can feature them, train your staff to better recommend them, give them 30 days before giving up. These are the ones you'll have to start using your own intuition, understanding your own business flow, understanding your customers, and figuring out maybe there's one or two little ways you can tweak how you're presenting this item, and it will quickly move from a puzzle to a star. And speaking of stars, you need to protect these. Everything else on your menu should support them. These are your high profit and your high popularity items. These are what is making the most money for your business, And these are the most important things on your menu or your product list. So as I'm looking back, what bothers me in my history isn't that I carried all 4 salads. It's that I had all the information I needed and I just couldn't see the problem because I wasn't looking in the right spot. I knew what each salad cost to make. I just didn't know what each salad cost to carry. And like I had mentioned in the beginning, these are 2 completely different numbers. The second one includes labor and complexity, prep time, opportunity cost, and that's where my margins were disappearing. The menu matrix will not magically improve your menu. It will just help you see your menu more clearly. And once you see it more clearly, you're able to start making different decisions. That's the O in the profit framework. And that's what it really means, is that every item on your menu should have a job. Some are earning their place, some are simply taking up space. Your job is to know the difference. If today's episode made you think differently about your own menu, here's what you can do next. Go to thechefplus.com and take a free profit assessment. It's 20 questions, takes about 3 minutes, and it'll show you where your biggest prime cost leaks are and roughly what it's costing you each month. If you want to dig deeper, I'm running a live profit workshop this August. It'd take about 90 minutes. I'm only holding about 8 seats and we'll work through the menu matrix and the rest of the framework together using your actual numbers. So take the assessment at thechefplus.com and you'll be the first to know when registration opens. My name is Stephen Bonin. This is Plating Profit. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.